everybody? Good morning. Welcome to a Monday edition of Morning Scone presented by Brock, the Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic, Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com, Restored Motions, RestoredMotions.com, and ProCharge EV, ProChargeEV.com. Okay, y'all, what a day on Sunday. We got to spend a lot of time together. We did about a 2-hour morning scone. We did about a 2-hour rain delay show in the middle of the LSU Oregon State game, and then popped on for about an hour post-game show last night. And many of you watched, many of you hung out. I'm grateful for that. The LSU Tigers, of course, do in fact outlast Oregon State 6-5, and they move into today's regional final against Oregon State. For those that missed it, of course, LSU beats Oregon State 6-5. Oregon State had to come back about an hour later and play Sam Houston State. They did, and they won that game 3-1. So, so now LSU and Oregon State play today, Monday, at 1 p.m. And of course, if LSU beats Oregon State in that game at 1 p.m., LSU moves on to the Super Regional round. And if Oregon State wins, the two teams would play again tonight at 5 o'clock, or this evening at 5 o'clock. So they would play at 1, then if necessary, Game 7, they turn around and play again at 5. So hopefully that game is not necessary. In any event, so good to see the LSU rally and win. We'll go through the game. Tigers found themselves down 3-0, and that was pretty uncomfortable, to say the very least. If I'm sure many of you were watching, but we'll go through it just quickly what happened, and I'll kind of give you some thoughts on it, then thoughts on today. Of course, Ty Floyd got the start. He gave up the solo homer in the top of the third. LSU had the bases loaded in each of the first 2 innings, couldn't get anybody home. That was certainly disappointing. They loaded the bases in the second without the benefit of a hit. It was a hit by pitch, walk, and then couldn't get a run home. Certainly disappointing. Look, I'm not calling guys out, but you could tell sometimes the moment catches up to guys. I think it happened to Tommy White. He struck out twice on horrendous pitches. And I think both times the bases loaded, he was just a little too eager, a little too amped up, and swung at pitches elevated out of the zone. And, amazed that the first one was him. You get the bases loaded with 1 out. It's Tommy White. All you have to do is put the ball in play, man. Certainly put the ball in play. I don't recall if the infield was in, so I don't know if they would have tried to make a play at home. But if you put the ball in the air, you're scoring a run. It was Thompson at third. So, anyway, so that was disappointing. Then, of course, you give up the solo homer. But I'll tell you, I know I mentioned this on the postgame show. I'll mention it again here. That third inning, one of the giant plays in the game, put a big asterisk next to it, was the strike him out, throw him out. You start the third, Floyd gives up the leadoff homer, then gives up a double, then a bunt single. So they go homer, double, single. They got to run in first and third, nobody out. And Floyd got out of that without allowing another run. They got to strike him out, throw him out. Huge play by Travinsky. Just hosed the guy at second. And to do that with a runner at third is tricky, because on that stolen base, Travinsky goes to make that throw. If the runner at third is eyeing him and breaks it home, there's a chance that run scores right there. But no hesitation, hosed the runner at second. And then, of course, Floyd would get out of the inning right there. So one batter later. So, yeah, man, that was a huge. But then, of course, the rains came. And you come out of the rain delay thinking, all right, let's see if you can go make some noise here. And instead, LSU goes 1, 2, 3. And then the bottom half of the inning is where things got hairy. LSU started kicking the ball around a little bit. There was the the ball in no man's land on the right side. Um, Thompson kind of fired it toward home, and it got away. And anyway, um, they put up a two spot there. So you're down 3-0. But LSU did what they've done so many times this year. They responded. Dylan Cruz comes back with the 2-run blast in the bottom of the fourth to get those 2 runs right back. It's a 3-2 ball game. Hurd goes out there, throws up a 0, and then right back after that, Travinsky, Beloso back to back. He got the lead. So it was just massive. Now Hurd did give up a 2-run homer that went over the batter's eye, which was a bomb, which tied the game at 5. And then of course Joe Bear came back and hit the game winner. So it was awesome, man. And Gavin Guidry in the 9th, he did allow the 1 single, and it was a tough play, but it went off into Polt's glove. I'm not saying the Polt should have made the play. He is in there as a defensive replacement, but still, that would have been a really tough play. But Gavin Guidry just absolute nails. Faces 1 over the minimum, struck out 2, including Gavin Turley, who's the freshman phenom they have, who's hit however many double-digit homers. So huge. Just a huge win, puts LSU in the driver's seat. And now, if you're wondering, Oregon State last night used 2 pitchers. Hang on, I'll tell you. And they burned them both. And one of them, Jimenez, pitched very well, who's one of their better bullpen arms. Let's see. I'm going to try to find this for you, because the 2 pitchers they used last night are burned for sure. They used here it is. Boom. Thank you. All right, here you go. Oregon State used Ian Lawson, who went 2 innings and needed 48 pitches to get through 2 innings. He's done. Aiden Jimenez went 6 innings, got the win through 63 pitches. He's done. And then they did bring in their closer, Ryan Brown, who got his 11. He is their true closer. He came in with 10 saves. He got the save last night, so that's his 11th save on the season. He threw 20 pitches. He could go again today in a safe situation. Let's hope that situation doesn't present. So, you look ahead to today, and boy, Oregon State is going to be super thin. They're already thin on pitching, and they are going to be even thinner. This has got to be one of those where you look and you say, all right, bats, come on. And as far as LSU on the mound, I think you're going to start Javen Coleman, and you have everyone available except for Skeens, Floyd, Hurd. Now, those are your 3 best arms, obviously, but you have everyone else available. You've got Javen Coleman, Riley Cooper, Nate Ackenhausen, Gavin Guidry could pitch again. If you need money, or Dutton, Collins. I mean, I just rattled off 7 names for you. There's probably someone in there I'm forgetting, but you've got plenty to get through this game, and really, you just got to have your offense show up in a big way. So, all right, let's say some good mornings here. Great to be back. Please smash the like button if you're on YouTube. Subscribe up to the channel if you're new. Facebook, please like the page, share the post. Charlie Cavell, hey Dad, good morning. Kelly Gross, great post-game show last night. Thank you, Kelly. Appreciate it very much. Kelly Presley, good morning. Give the name of the cigar you were smoking. Yeah, so it was a Churchill, which is by Davidoff, or Davidoff, I don't know how they say it. And it was the late hour. There's many different ones. There's like Robusto, and there's Toro, and so this was a late hour. I think it's called the Late Hour. Churchill by Davidoff. Fantastic cigar too, by the way. Brant Roban, good morning. I know baseball isn't as physically demanding like other sports. When you say Oregon State would be mentally worn out, Brant, I would have said the really tough part for Oregon State was turning around and playing right after playing LSU. Losing that game after a 3-hour rain delay, and then having to come back an hour later and play arrested Sam Houston was the tougher draw. This is, I don't know that today is really the problem. Now, LSU got to go home and rest while Oregon State played past midnight. But I think the bigger issue is how do you if you're Oregon State, how do you play 18 innings today, and get 54 outs? You know, if they get to a second game, all bets are off because it's baseball and one game sample, any weird thing can happen. But boy, you really like LSU in this first game. I mean, LSU should go and put their thumb on them and end this thing quickly. Bubba Tatum, good morning from Universal Studios backstage. Okay, Bubba. Skip, what's up, man? Brant Roban, maybe it's easier said than done. I don't understand why these games aren't on cable. Who's playing at 1 p.m. that LSU can't be on SEC Network? Nobody's slated to broadcast it. It's probably because they'll have Feinbaum starting at 2, and they're not going to preempt their regular programming. So all throughout the day, you've got regular programming like all the ESPN shows that go throughout the day, and then their afternoon lineup like PTI, Around the Horn, all that stuff. I know they got Daily Wager on ESPN2, NFL Live, so they're not going to preempt all those shows or any of those shows. So that's why. Not for LSU, Oregon State at 1 o'clock in a regional in Baton Rouge. Yeah, so good question. Skip said, why did they take the lefty out who was pumping 96 after 1 inning? So he is, you're talking about Keljo. So Nelson Keljo is the lefty who came in after the rain delay and threw 1 inning and threw up a 0. So Nelson Keljo, he is just sort of a specialized reliever. He only has 21 innings on the whole season. He's got 21 innings pitched in 22 appearances. So he is a specialized, like 1 inning stopper type guy. He isn't a guy that has extended it at any point this year. So I think it was one of those things where, especially, they had a lead coming out of the delay. It's like, go get us 3 outs and get us on it. Like, don't let them get momentum here coming out of the rain delay. So I kind of got what they were doing there, but that's why. Truax, what's going on? Scooter Rushing, good morning. Trivia Carter, strong side, good morning. How's Z-Rock feeling? Thanks for asking. Erica was sick a couple nights ago. Like vomiting, sick. I think she had a stomach bug, but was really down and out yesterday. But I think she's on the mend. Not great, but she's feeling better. So thank you for asking. Ben Dog, what's going on, man? Weston Weaver, morning, Matt. Bet you're excited about game time today. Well, Weston, I'll tell you this, man. So it's a 1 o'clock first pitch. By the time AFR starts at 3, they should be into the somewhere around the 7th inning, I would assume. And hopefully LSU has the game well in hand, and then AFR becomes a de facto post-game show, which would be fine with me if they finish that game around 4. Then hours 2 and 3 of my show become a post-game show. So I'm good with that. Actually, I wish it would have been at noon instead of been finishing right around 3. But anyway, A55 blah 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 blah. Good morning. How much pitching does Oregon State have left? Yeah, so not much. Okay, so keep in mind that Lattery, who started yesterday, by the way, if you were here yesterday, that was our guess that Lattery would start the game. He's burned. He threw 57 pitches. Keljo threw 15. He could come back, but again, we just talked about him. He's a specialized guy. A.J. Hutchinson threw 11. They could bring him back, but that's the guy that only went a third of an inning and gave up the back-to-back bombs. So please bring him back. Ben Ferrer is the one who really kind of steadied things for them. He went 3 2/3. I say steady things. He did give up 4 runs, but I'm sorry. Hutchinson gave up the 2-run homer to Cruz. Ferrer is the one who gave up the back-to-back homers, and then ultimately the homer to Joe Bear. Sorry. Let's see. And so Ferrer's done, by the way. And then Ryan Brown is the guy who pitched the 8th for them. He could certainly come back. He threw 23 pitches, but they're thin, man. And then both guys they threw last night are burned. So who's available? They burned Jimenez last night. He can't come back. Um, did let me see if. Hang on 1 second. Trying to figure this out here on the fly. Maybe maybe Rhett Larson. Let me see if Rhett Larson pitched in their first game. I don't remember off the top. I know they got 7 1/3 from Sellers. So let's see. Sellers went 7 1/3. Bosevert only went 2/3 of an inning, 6 pitches, and Victor Quinn threw 15 pitches. No, so that's probably your answer. Yeah, this Rhett Larson might be your answer. 6'2" junior. He's a righty. 6'2" junior who on the season, he's the only guy left who has thrown at least 30 innings on the season. 32 1/3 innings pitched, a 5.57 ERA, 25 strikeouts to 12 walks. That's probably your guy. Rhett Larson is probably your guy. Hasn't pitched yet in this regional and is the only guy left who's got more than 30 innings pitched on the season. So I would say just looking at the stats, Rhett Larson is probably the guy that you see today. All right. Smash the like button if you would, please. Subscribe up to the channel. As always, shout out to Brock, Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic. Remember, Brock, Rock, and Wine coming up July 29th. You can get your tickets or learn more at brortho.com. brortho.com. Of course, Hudco Roofing, hudcoroofing.com. Boy, what awful weather all weekend, man. Rain, hail, lightning, wind. There was confirmed hail in St. Gabriel and Central, Pico Lane in Baton Rouge, parts of New Orleans, Lafayette. If you had hail, I'll say it again, it's so worth letting us come do a free, no obligation roofing inspection. A lot of times you could have hail damage you're not even aware of because you can't see it from the ground. So let us come do a free, no obligation roofing inspection. Click the HUDCO link, which is pinned in the chat. Fill out the form on the homepage. If you would rather call 364-1007, 225-364-1007. Call 364-1007. And we'll get someone out to your house, within a day. All right, Scooter Rushing, not the scoring fest I was expecting. Me either, Scooter. I think I talked about that, and I was wrong. I assumed last night with those two offenses, and as depleted as the pitching was, that we'd see a ton of runs. But Jimenez was fantastic for Oregon State. He went 6 and I think 6 1/3. He was or 6. He went 6 innings. He was fantastic. He really stymied Sam Houston. Wendell Norman, Troy Abear, ESPN Plus, thumbs down. Calling Cajunomics. Troy Abear, let's see, Barry Jocelyn, what's going on? Antron Hemingway, good morning. Can you let the fam know I said good morning? I will, Antron. Thank you, man. First pitch today again is 1 p.m. Central. 1 p.m. Central for LSU and Oregon State today. Russell, I actually did stay up and watch that game last night. I tweeted at some point, like maybe in the 6th or 7th. Is anybody else still watching this? It was friends and family only at the box, and anyway, Tiger Diver, Ronnie Duga. What does over batter's eye mean? So Ronnie, that's okay. So the batter's eye is, if you look in center field, the big black screen in center field, That is called the batter's eye. And the reason is because um, it negates a disadvantage for the batter, meaning you put that batter's eye right there behind the pitcher. So when the batter is looking at the pitcher and the ball's coming out of his hand, there's a black background there so the batter can pick up the ball instead of it being the sky or fans. Because just like a outfielder could lose a ball in the sky, imagine being a hitter and you're trying to pick up the ball coming out of the pitcher's hand, and the ball could be blended in with fans in center field or the sky or anything like that. So that's why you put a batter's eye back there. So when the ball is coming out of the pitcher's hand, it pops, it stands out because there's just a black backdrop behind him. So that's that big screen you see in center field. That's called the batter's eye. And so the homer that the kid hit from Oregon State went over the batter's eye in center, which was it was a bomb. That dude hit a bomb. And don't feel stupid. That's a perfectly normal question. It's something I just assume people know, but no, absolutely. I mean, you can't be the only one that doesn't know that. So always ask questions like that. That's cool. Reed Rule, good morning. Oregon State looked exhausted after their win last night. Hopefully our offense can wear them down. Bruce Shales, happy for Hurd. Yeah, man. I'm going to tell you, I'm going to play this. I'm telling you, I'm going to play this clip again. I looked for it last night. I couldn't find it, but I know we have it at the studio. Jay Johnson at Media Day earlier this year said point blank, Thatcher Hurd is going to have to start impactful games for us to win or meaningful games for us to reach our goals. Essentially, I'm paraphrasing. And lo and behold, we waited a long time for Thatcher Hurd to round into form, but the way he was snapping that breaking ball and dotting 95, 96, that's the dude we've all been waiting to see, and he was awesome. Thatcher Hurd recorded 15 outs in that game, 12 of them by strikeout. Incredible. Absolutely incredible. Matt Plavidal, anyone not named Skeens, Hurd, and Floyd are available today. Absolutely. Everyone's available except those three. Patrick Ramos, do you think there's any chance Floyd pitches today? Zero. He is not available. I think Jay Johnson even said it last night. Floyd is not available. It's something y'all got to keep in mind. I know some people have said that. They've said, hey, could you get an inning out of Skeens? Like, zero chance. You got to understand, with so much on the line for these pitchers now, these elite arms, it's just not reality that you're going to see these guys pitch on super short rests like that. Those days are gone. If you're a Riley Cooper and you're a rubber arm and you can throw 3 times in a weekend and you probably don't have a professional future, okay. But for a guy like Skeens or Floyd or Hurd, the guys that have big league futures, I remember having this conversation with Paul Maneri years ago, and he's so right. He said, listen, when you get these elite arms to campus, how you protect those elite arms really determines if you're going to continue to get elite arms. Because if you don't protect those guys, you will develop that reputation, and you're never going to get those guys to campus again. So, and it's not necessarily just a selfish thing. I mean, they do it for the good of the player, but I mean, sometimes you have to protect the player from himself, who's like, coach, I can give you an inning, give me the ball. Like, competitors want the ball, but sometimes the coach has to say, no, we're not doing it. So no, you're not going to see Floyd today. Alex DeVilliers, Reed Rule, is Hurd draft eligible or is he back next year? Hurd is back next year. So he will be back for his junior season next year, as will Tommy White. The only draft eligible sophomore that I can think of off the top is Grant Taylor. And he's going to have a really interesting decision to make because he's coming off of Tommy John. So do you get drafted probably lower because of the injury and missing this season, or do you rehab, come back, pitch next season, and try to increase your draft stock? Let's see, Brian Wynn, Damon Gilmore, Ben Bergeron, good morning. Love the post game last night. I want to be like you when I grow up. Thank you, Ben. I appreciate that. Donovan Peterson, Jesse Brown. Morning Scone is my coffee every morning. Cheers. Juan, what's good, man? Ray Langlois, Michael Tolliver, Troy Hebert. Now, Troy said weather again today, and there is weather. Let's look at the updated forecast real quick, y'all. Oh, it's 8:04. I got to get rolling. Although I don't have to bring Drew to school, but I do have a 9 o'clock meeting downtown, so I got to get going here in a minute. Let's look at the hourly. There is rain in the forecast today, but let's look at the hourly here, and hopefully in the afternoon we're okay. looking like, oh, of course. Heavy thunderstorms in the area starting at 1 o'clock. From 1 to 5, it's looking like thunderstorms. And then it clears up around 6. So we may end up, AFR may end up being just a pregame show today, or a weather delay show. All right, a couple more here, and I got to get bouncing. Let's see. Quentin Breakbill, what's up? Jacob Willis. Jerry DeLucky, good morning. Let's do the game on ESPN Plus. Is there any other way to watch the game? No, I mean, you got to stream it. You could go to YouTube and find Cageonomics in his Call of Duty stream. Shelby Fontenot. Morning, did you stay up the whole Sam Houston? I did. I stayed up and watched it. Darren Gagnon, morning's going great work yesterday. Thank you for being on. You're welcome. Thank y'all for watching. Let's see. Guess Coleman starting today. Jay Johnson will probably not announce until an hour before first pitch. Yeah, we'll find out whenever they post the lineup. But Coleman, of course, Javen Coleman makes the most sense. Yeah, Blake DeVilliers mentioned Josh Pearson as well, who homered. Big blast for Pearson yesterday. Becky Thornton Harrod, good morning. Thanks for the shout out to the 4 Tigers that don't get credit for their contributions. Yeah, so I mentioned that. I mentioned it on post game, and I did a little a short, a Facebook and Instagram reel, a YouTube short, a TikTok, shouting out Beloso, Travinsky, Jobert, and Dugas. Y'all, it's a little amazing. Those 4 guys in the fall weren't even guaranteed roster spots, let alone playing time. Like, there were conversations with all those guys like, do you hang it up? Do you come back? Maybe you transfer. And they all decided to come back. And Travinsky patiently sat and waited while Brady Neal, a freshman, was starting at catcher, and Milazzo was the late inning defensive replacement. Neal gets hurt. They start platooning Travinsky and Milazzo, and when Travinsky got his opportunity, he didn't miss it. Great patience from that guy. Jobert, we were all expecting Paxton Kling would win the starting right fielder job, which he did. And then conference play came around, and I remember he strained his hamstring. I think it was against Tulane in New Orleans. And it opened the door, and Jobert just was like, you ain't taking me out of the lineup. Good hat tip. They fully expected Gavin Guidry was going to win the starting second baseman job. And Gavin Dugas was like, no, you ain't, kid. Why don't you try pitching this year? That's worked out, by the way. Cade Beloso, torn ACL, thought about hanging it up, decided to come back. Where was he going to fit in this lineup of dudes, mashers, up and down the lineup? You start giving him a pinch hit AB here and there. Oh, he gets a hit every time up. All right, let's give him a start in a midweek game. Oh, he's 4 for 4. Huh. Let him get a start on the weekend. Oh, 3 for 4. Dude just can't take him a dozen homers, hitting over 300. Like, all of those dudes, it's such a great testament and testimony to being patient and waiting your turn and getting better. Because, I'm all for transfer portal. I'm all for NIL. Y'all know that. But there is also something to be said for saying, you know what, I'm going to stick it out. And improving and getting better and and waiting your turn, and when your turn comes, delivering and taking your and earning your playing time. And all those guys have done it. And on a team where you've got the guys that are going to be the first and second pick in the draft, Tommy White, who's going to be a first rounder next year, Trey Morgan and Jordan Thompson are both going to be top 100 picks this year. I mean, on a roster where up and down the lineup, you've got just dudes. You got these guys that maybe don't have a great professional future, but have been great college baseball players and have earned their opportunities, man. So hat tip to them. Logan Mathern said, "Well, we only see Milazzo with decent leads." I think just like you saw with yesterday with Napolt going in at second, he'll be a late inning defensive replacement, I believe. If LSU's got a lead or if Travinsky's spot in the order isn't coming up, I think you'll see Milazzo. That's what happened with Napolt yesterday. They almost turned that double play to end the game. Matthew Garner, Musa did a great job. Him and T-Bob had a great show. Yeah, man, Musa's doing great. Truax, what's good? Let's see if I can get a couple more in here and we'll bounce. All right, yeah, actually, I think we're done here. I'm still waiting on the Flying Tiger beer you want to swap for Klein Peter Milk. I'll hand deliver. Scooter Rush, you're gonna have to remember. You have to remind me what that is. I don't remember what we talked about. Herd's breaking ball is nasty. Thomas Lamont, is Jones done for the postseason except maybe a pinch hit here or there? Yeah, I mean that's fair, Thomas. I mean he'll if you need the big right-handed bat to come off the bench who can slug one 400 feet and hit a home. Yeah, I mean that's about his role. Leon Williams, who would pitch game 2 if we lose game 1? So Skeens is an absolutely no-go. He asked about Skeens. How would that play in the super regional rotation? Like literally zero chance Paul Skeens throws today. I mean, when I say literally, I mean it would be complete malpractice if Jay Johnson puts a ball in Paul Skeens' hand today. He's not going to. And who would pitch the second game, the if necessary game? I have no idea of how to answer that until I know what you do in game 1. Okay. All right, I think we're done. I got to go. Thank y'all so much for watching. If you're there on YouTube, again, as always, smash the like button and subscribe up to the channel. Facebook, please like the Matt Moscona page, share the post. Shout out to Brock and Hudco. You need an orthopedist, go to Brock. Roof, give us a shout out at Hudco. Big shout out to big shout out Crystal Poche over at Restored Motions. If you have pain, book a session. Slipped the disc. Well, I threw up my back badly the day before we left for vacation. Was on a Medrol dose pack. Got myself feeling a little bit better, but literally like the day we got back Wednesday, Thursday, I went and saw Crystal. She's just a healer, man. If you have pain, you've been living in pain, dealing with pain, don't. Go see Crystal Poche at Restored Motions. And ProCharge EV, ProChargeEV.com. Okay, y'all have an awesome day. Go Tigers. We'll see you for AFR at 3. Peace.